Hey guys, it's me, EODGamer here, and in this video, I want to talk about the top 5 characters that will add any value to any of your accounts in Honkai Star Rail. It may be a new player or you're a returning player, and you want a bit of standing of what characters to build first. This video is going to be that one, and what characters to aim for, maybe in a future rerun and stuff like that. A few of the characters on the list are characters that are rerunning or perhaps could see a rerun soon, so I think this video will add quite good, relevant, up-to-date information right now. Now, I don't want this whole entire list to be filled with 5-star characters, limited 5-star characters, so I'll try to add in a few honorable mentions. But one thing to note, of course, 4 stars generally have a lot less stats than 5 stars, and as well as you just have because they have lesser HP, lesser multipliers, they're naturally slightly inferior to the 5-star counterparts, which is understandable. Now, we don't waste time on this channel, so let me go ahead and talk about the maybe I should talk about number 5 on the list, and then we'll go all the way up to my top pick. So this is ranked in order. In 5th place, I think it would be a character like Ho. I actually slowly appreciated Ho a little bit more. This is a character that I find using very often, especially if I'm playing DOT teams. But regardless of whatever I'm using, and I have no idea why my Ho has 100% crit damage here, this is a character that grew on me. At first, I already had Fucc, I already had Luota. This character felt a bit of a not too going to be very useful, very relevant, but she actually grew on me very well. She provides good amounts of HP restore, cleansing, which is very reliable, a lot of healing. She buffs the entire team with attack as well as energy. So a lot of the characters in the game, if you think about it, most of the cast in the game, with the exception of a few characters that skill with HP and defense, majority of them actually skill with attack, which means that this character benefits a lot of them. Best in class for DOT teams as well. So if you are a Black Swan, you're a Kafka player, Ho is probably your go-to out of all of them. So I think she's probably very good, super versatile as well, has best in class slots, and offers you basically everything you need from a supportive role. Probably my 5th pick. If you are looking for a sustained character, this is probably one that you can go for, especially if you are a DOT team player. In slot number 4, and this is of course ranked by can add value to any account. In slot number 4 is actually going to be Aventurine, and let me talk about that real quick. So why do I like him a lot? He has similarities to Ho, where he can be used in almost any single team available. He's of course best in follow-up team compositions with the likes of Topaz and Nambi, who's currently on the banner. We have of the likes of Dr. Ratio, which is he was a free character, and etc. Follow-up team compositions really like Aventurine because very few defensive units are able to put out the amount of damage that he deals, imaginary break damage that he deals, as well as at the same time protecting the entire team. So very rare kit, very unique. I think he's very strong. In my opinion, he's probably the best, if not second best, defensive unit right now in the meta, especially when the meta is shifting more towards 1 follow-up, 2 break, and 3, of course, every character doing more damage. So Aventurine, I like him a lot, very cheap to build. I don't even have a 5-star. Like Kon, I think he adds value to any account. But unfortunately, these characters all passed, so I don't want to talk about things that we can't control. My top 3 characters, a few of them are currently or will be probably rerunning soon. And in this, the top 3 is very tricky because it can go either way. I think in 3rd place, I'll talk about a character like Akirion. I put her intentionally 3rd because the next 2 characters on the list I think will be much more versatile. But for Akirion, reason why she's 3rd is she does need a little bit of resources to pop off. I have 3 accounts with this particular character. I have 1 account without her signature light cone. My main account, this one that you see here, has a signature light cone and E2. I feel that the optimal Akirion, where you start feeling how good she is at E2 S1. My E0 S0 account just can't seem to get the same vibe as Akirion with her signature light cone. Of course, I have a final account which is S1 E6 with everything unlocked. That of course is really overpowered. But Akirion is one of the characters in the game that is probably a standout DPS. She's on a tier and a league of her own if you have her at E2 S1. E0, she's okay. I would argue that Imbibitor Lune at E2 probably will feel a lot more comfier to play than Akirion at E0. But of course, it's like 3 characters, right? So you can't really compare in that case. But with E2 S1, she is in a class of her own. No other DPS really comes close right now. And that is coming from a person who has Zealer E6 which is very different from Akirion. I wish I could trade in. However, can you let me exchange my Eidolons so I can trade in? I'll trade 6 Eidolons of Zila for just 4 more over here so I can max this out. That would be really nice, however, if you're watching this, please have that feature available. But yeah, probably one of the standout DPS. Colorless Attack Breaker hits everything. If you guys find her a rerun, please do pick up her S1 and E2. I think this DPS will be relevant for a really, really long time. Her E2 is so good because you make her much more versatile by being able to fit into a lot more teams. I still run 2 Nihility in the same team just because I run a waifu team, but the ability to swap out one Nihility character for a Harmony character becomes ridiculously overpowered. But we already know that. So next up, the last 2 characters of course are coming up in future shortly, I guess. But I want to give an honorable shout out to 2 characters that I think is really, really good now in version 2.2. 4 stars, free characters basically, or 4-star characters. The first one that I want to talk about of course is Harmony MC. Some of you maybe are not very active in this patch. Maybe you are just like saving so you don't really care about any of the other media. What I want you to do is actually learn about Harmony MC and what is the benefits she gives. She gives tons of break to the rest of the team and adds an insane amount of damage. If you haven't seen our showcase video, we actually ran almost naked characters with no gear and could still do a very, very good amounts of damage with Harmony MC. This character is a godsend character. If you are playing, if you don't want to invest in break effect teams in future, this character is basically your get out of jail card free, very, very cheap to build. We already have videos on her on the channel. Just watch 1 or 2, you pretty much will know what you need to know if you are maybe just chilling in this patch. This is a standout winner, very, very strong. Probably my top pick for 4-star or free characters. I mean, Harmony MC is technically a 5-star, but I classify her as a 4-star because it's more attainable than everyone else. She's a free character in a sense, so that's why I'll classify her towards like the 4-star section rather than 5 stars. That's the way I do it, but you could argue otherwise. And a genuine 5-star character, a 4-star character rather, that I think is really, really strong now, probably the strongest in the game, or true 4-star characters, is Xury. This character has 5-star stats in terms of her overall, 5-star stats in terms of overall value that you get if you can maximize and min-max her completely. Why do I say that? It's because she has this trace here, this bonus ability Clairvoyant Loom, which gives her 240% damage buff. And this is 240% damage buff is ridiculous considering that she skills with attack, crit, and speed as well. Which means that you have 5 stats: attack, crit rate, crit damage, speed, and break effect that you skill off with, getting a free 240% damage buff. This is ridiculous amounts, super efficient. Previously, in prior patches, the reason why she wasn't talked about too much is because that break effect is very difficult to obtain. Chances are you're sacrificing attack or crit for that break effect. But now with a character like Harmony MC who gives you more than 100% break effect for free, Xury is really popping off in the current game state, both of them together, and even if you combo with like Ranmei, it becomes even stronger as well. And now, of course, honorable mentions aside, let's go into our number 2. I thought about it for a while. She's rerunning in this patch, which is nicer to like talk about it first, is Huynh. If any of you who are thinking of picking up this character, in my opinion, she might not be, probably in a lot of people's books, people place like Aventurine higher, but in my mind, Huynh is the character that will outlive a lot of the other characters in the game because the things that she offers is very difficult to power creep. We talked about it in the Huynh issue worth it video, so you can check out that video if you're interested more in our thought process of Huynh right now. But I really like this character a lot. She does too much for too little. She scales very well with some investment, so if every rerun you can get, like, let's say you just get E1, you already get a 30% damage increase. You get her signature light cone, you get massive amounts of HP stats to prevent her getting one-shotted, and even more damage buff for the rest of the team. Sustain, she becomes a Harmony, she becomes a Destruction, she becomes a or Erudition because she has AoE in her out. She becomes a Abundance, healing your whole team. She's a Preservation, guaranteed damage mitigation for your entire team. It's too much in one character, really. I just think Hoyoverse made a mistake with this particular unit. Very overpowered. In my second place, for the longest time she was number 1, but I think in version 2.2 a character has taken over as my personal number 1 right now in Honkai Star Rail, and it's you guys kind of already know that character is Ranmei. This character is very similar to the likes of Huynh and Akirion, where you need investments. She pops off even harder with investments, but this is the best out of all three of them in terms of like the top 3 standing. E0, S0, she still works very fine. You can easily get by with a lot of gear. We have a build guide video on Runway. If you're interested in all that, you can check it out. If you guys speculate that she might be coming out soon, you can check out the content that we have. More or less it's the same thing. Her builds doesn't really change too much as well. Why is she very strong? And why is she the only Harmony on the list? The reason why I didn't put the other 2 Harmony characters like Sparkle, like Robin on the list is you can get away with not having Robin and putting Runway. You can get away with not having Sparkle and instead working around, unless of course you are Imbibitor Lunae main, but one team is not enough to justify getting into the list when you have characters like Huo, Aventrine, who deservingly have a place there. Runmei is a class of her own because she fits into any team literally possible in the game. DOT, follow up, crit damage, defense scaling characters, HP scaling characters, characters that want to break. She plays into every single team possible, and she's best in slot for many of them and competitive in the rest of them, which is ridiculous value that she offers. The only downside that I've heard so far about her is people just don't like her personality, but we here on the channel, we don't discriminate characters based on their lore as much as I can. I try to be more objective as possible. One of the only characters with weakness break efficiency, now comboing with characters like Trailblazer. So E0 Runmei, Trailblazer, you can basically enter the entire break game with free characters like Xury. Okay, free is not really the right word. 4-star characters like Xury. We have a lot of videos on the channel talking about this comp already, and if you guys think maybe that she's coming out in future, do check out the rest of our videos on the channel. I think you'll find it very helpful. In my opinion, she's the number 1 character in the game in Honkai Star Rail right now as of time of recording. Things could change, but I think the 3 characters in the top 3 probably will withstand the test of time, at least for the next 6 months when we do our next video. Anyways guys, thank you so much for watching. If you appreciate such content, I just giving you a second opinion. It's not fact or anything. As always, top whatnot is always subjected to my own personal opinion. But yeah, leave a comment if you have a differing opinion. Who else do you think should have made it on the list? Thank you guys so much for watching, and see you in the next video.